weeks is a foreign...
With Dan Rather in Moscow and Connie Chung in Los Angeles.
Good evening. President Clinton is spending tonight in the Kremlin, capping a summit that he hopes will show the way to the future. The president worked hard to support his political friend, Boris Yeltsin, and even harder to promote freedom, democracy, and peace here in Russia. Today's photo op highlight was a three-way deal, some of which is still secret, to remove former Soviet nuclear weapons from Ukraine. Correspondent Rita Braver begins our coverage.
A triple handshake. The presidents of the United States, Russia, and Ukraine celebrate the signing of an agreement to remove Ukrainian nuclear weapons. No mention of private concerns that the Ukrainian parliament could squelch the deal.
My opinion is that Ukraine will increase its authority among nations for doing this.
Even as Presidents Clinton and Yeltsin praised and toasted each other, they are both clearly sensitive to criticism within Russia that they're too close.
The implication that somehow we have tried to direct the course of Russian policy is just not accurate and not true. The people of Russia have to define their own future.
President Yeltsin was asked if the future now includes a slowdown of Russia's move to a free market economy.
Yes.
Western ideas have already hit it big on Russian television. President Clinton was invited to hold one of his trademark national town meetings.
I saw your picture shaking hands with President Kennedy, and I'd like to ask you, how old were you, and when you got an idea to become a president of the United States?
Come shake hands with me and maybe you'll be president of Russia someday.
Asked if he'd like to switch jobs with President Yeltsin, Mr. Clinton said no, he likes his own job just fine. Mrs. Clinton, who arrived today, joined her husband at the studio. Earlier, she caused pandemonium in Red Square, posing for pictures. But the real circus was the one Chelsea Clinton attended with the Yeltsin grandchildren. The Clintons will spend the night in the Kremlin, just a few more rounds of ceremonies left. White House aides acknowledge that most of the president's trip this week had little to do with the day-to-day lives of Americans. But they say the trip was important to the long-term relationship between the U.S. and Europe. Rita Braver, CBS News, with the president in Moscow.
In a way, this has seemed like an old-fashioned summit from the bygone days of the Cold War and the arms race. With not much new to say about economic reform, Presidents Clinton and Yeltsin shifted their focus to the arms control agreements, which, they say, make the world a safer place tonight.
President Clinton told me tonight he's confident Ukraine will follow through on its agreement to give up its nuclear weapons in return for peace and partnership with Russia and the U.S.
I think getting the money for the uranium and also opening Ukraine up to trade and investment from countries like the United States that would never be prepared to do this much if it stayed a nuclear power, I think they'll do it. I think it's in their interest, and I think it plainly makes the world a safer place.
How do we know, or do we know, that there isn't some wacky Russian general, Dr. Strangelove, out there somewhere, or a wacko in Ukraine itself? Is there any way to ensure against that?
The Russians, historically, I mean, this goes back to the time of the Soviet Union, had very good, tough, centralized controls. We've always been very impressed with that. The thing we've been worried about, why we wanted to work so hard to dismantle these nuclear warheads, is not so much the launching of a weapon, but that the nuclear material itself might be stolen, might be subject to terrorism, might be subject to then being used for blackmail.
Let me switch quickly to Bosnia. What about this report that helicopters and jets flew in central Bosnia in direct violation of the UN resolution?
You mean the no-fly zone?
Exactly. Can't we enforce this no-fly zone at least?
We can. We can plainly enforce it. We have the capacity to shoot the planes down, but we want to be very careful before we do. We want to know exactly what we're doing and why and what those planes are doing.
The combat incident I asked Mr. Clinton about happened overnight in central Bosnia when Croat helicopters apparently attacked Muslim forces in defiance of the UN and NATO. Meanwhile, Serbian gunners are escalating their assault on Sarajevo. And as CBS News correspondent Mark Phillips reports from the Bosnian capital, they may now be succeeding in breaking the city's spirit.
Serbs celebrate New Year's by the Orthodox calendar and by the gun. This celebration was designed to kill, to injure, and to frighten. More than just physical damage is being done to the people of Sarajevo. Those not hit by the shelling are traumatized by it. You bring a wounded relative to the hospital, and they're still trying to kill you. Depression is the standard condition. The suicide rate is way up, with plenty of cause.
Death of a relative, spouse or sibling, or, I don't know, witnessing rape or being, I don't know, held hostage, tortured.
Yes.
People like Kanita Focak, whose husband was killed in the first weeks of the war.
I have all my arms, my legs, in this moment, but I am invalid too, because my soul is so hurt. My heart is hurt.
Kanita carries on. She has a son to care for, but that's not always the case. Doctors here talk about one peculiar feature of what they're calling the Sarajevo syndrome. They're calling it passive suicide, where people who simply can't take it anymore go out into some of the more dangerous parts of town hoping to be shot or shelled. Do you have difficulty day to day? Do you cry sometimes? Do you have other...
Yes, very often. My pillow knows the truth.
Many pillows know the truth in these Sarajevo nights. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Sarajevo.
Here in Moscow, a different kind of fear grips the people. Fear about the economic future of Mother Russia. We'll show you some interesting aspects of that story a bit later on. Connie?
Dan, and coming up next on the CBS Evening News, the arrest of the alleged hitman in the Nancy Kerrigan attack. And the Olympic skater talks about her recovery.
Now we're filling these fruit and nut cereals with more of your favorite fruits and nuts. 25% more. Filling more clusters of crunchy nuts into clusters. More nut-covered raisins into Raisin Nut Bran. More fruits and nuts into Basic 4. More crunchy almonds or real apples into these Oatmeal Crisp cereals. Now these favorites are filled with more fruits and nuts. 25% more. Look for these specially marked boxes.
I really didn't want my husband to color his gray hair.
But then I discovered this, the hair coloring called Just for Men.
And now he looks better than ever.
Apply Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. No wonder 8 out of 10 wives prefer the natural Just for Men look to gray hair.
It's like you took off 10 years.
With Just for Men hair color. And now, new Just for Men color gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out, just 5 minutes.
Olympic figure skater Nancy Kerrigan held a public press conference today, 1 week after she was attacked. She said she could not understand how anyone could plan something so vicious. Tonight, there are late developments in the investigation. Correspondent John Blackstone has the very latest.
The man charged with attacking Nancy Kerrigan turned himself in today. Shane Stant is identified as the man who last week struck Kerrigan and then ran away. This morning, he showed up at the FBI in Phoenix.
He just reported to our office.
He walked right in the office.
Right.
And said, here I am.
Here I am, right.
And in Portland today, Sean Eckert, Tanya Harding's bodyguard, through his lawyer, expressed remorse for the attack on Kerrigan. Eckert and Derek Smith were arraigned today on charges of conspiracy to commit assault. Smith is believed to have driven the getaway car used after the attack. Tanya Harding and her ex-husband Jeff Gilhooly appeared briefly today, but did not talk to reporters. Gilhooly has not been charged, but reports say he discussed the attack in advance with bodyguard Eckert. At home in Boston, Nancy Kerrigan says she doesn't want to talk about the arrests or the attack.
I can't understand any kind of explanation why something like this would occur.
Kerrigan is in rehabilitation. She hopes to be on the ice again early next week.
I can't wait. I keep saying, let me just try it. No, you're not ready yet. You know, the tissue still needs to heal a little bit more, but I just can't wait.
The arrest of people linked to Tanya Harding may present problems for skating officials. They must decide by the end of this month whether to leave her on the Olympic team.
I think it's incumbent upon the committee, and they have acted this way in the past, to ensure that the members of the team represent the United States of America in the best possible way.
With all this going on, preparations for the Olympics are taking a back seat. Only 13-year-old Michelle Kwan is skating right now. She'll fill in on the Olympic team if either Kerrigan or Harding can't compete. John Blackstone, CBS News, Portland.
Let the games go on, say America's black college basketball coaches. They're calling off a boycott they were threatening for this weekend after the Justice Department agreed to mediate a dispute with the NCAA. The black coaches are angry about NCAA cutbacks in college scholarships and about a proposal to raise standards for admission. Good news about the economy ignited a rally on Wall Street today, and the Dow finished the week at a record high.
The standard set by the federal government requires that a car with 2 airbags must help protect 2 passengers, ignoring the center seat passenger. The higher standard in the all-new DeVille by Cadillac, an air bank system which provides supplemental protection for not 1, not 2, but all 3 front seat passengers. The air bank system in the new V8-powered DeVille by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
Want the inside story on me, George Brett? With minor arthritis pain like mine, I need Ultra Strength Bengay. It's the only one with 3 pain relievers. And besides, doctors recommend Bengay the most. Ultra Strength Bengay, nothing stronger.
Oh, guys, my commercial. Listen, Wheat Thins pack a ton of hearty taste into a snack that's smart to eat. See? The smart little snack that's big on taste.
You're deliciously correct, oh maternal one.
Zap!
What do you want for breakfast?
You got something different?
Kellogg's Just Right.
Sounds good.
Honey, what do you want for breakfast?
Something different.
Kellogg's Just Right.
Sounds good.
Honey, what do you want for breakfast?
Something different.
Kellogg's Just Right.
Sounds good.
Kellogg's Just Right is just what you want. An exciting blend of sensational tastes and textures, so you always get something different.
What do you want for breakfast?
Kellogg's Just Right.
Sounds good.
Kellogg's Just Right. You just never get tired of it.
9 million?
Nobody finds con men better than 60 Minutes. And the one Ed Bradley found this week could be on the All-Star team. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
Back now live in Moscow, where President Clinton has spent much of his time here the past 2 days talking up President Yeltsin's economic reforms. The president told me earlier this evening that Russians, he believes, are focusing too much on the pain and not enough on the potential gain.
The real problem is the average person hears all this rhetoric about reform and there's no impact on their lives. So I've sympathized with the people in the parliament who came there to stop the economic and emotional free fall of the person in the street. But I think they're forgetting just how bad the economy was under the Soviet system before it changed. They can't go back. What they have to do is to fix it forward.
At least in public, there was no disagreement from Yeltsin on the pace of economic reform. Yeltsin says that he is determined to press ahead with what is called shock therapy, even though it has cost him much political support and it is inflicting deep pain on the Russian people.
Travel out from Moscow any direction, and you will find casualties of Russia's struggle for a new economy. Galina Sergeyevna lives with her invalid husband on a pension. I have no money, she says. We used to survive on 100 rubles a month, worth $160. Now we get 28,000 rubles a month, but this is not money. It's less than $25 today. Back in Moscow, Peter Yevstakyevich has another view. Business was booming this holiday, he says. We had lots of clients, lots of people buying. This store is cited by proponents of shock therapy as an early benefit, a real store making real money by supplying real needs, even though it's the needs of the wealthy.
These basic economic prescriptions work.
The American architect of the policy calling for rapid moves to a free market says Russia's economic misery is caused by inflation and panic, not shock therapy.
End the panic, then you can start working hard on the long-term solutions, and that would be the next phase of Russia's reforms to get a real market economy in place.
The tremendous gap in opinions about the Russian economy sometimes is as short as the walk across the street. From this store specializing in high-priced quality goods to this open-air market, operating here daily in sub-freezing temperatures, this is how most of the Russian people shop.
I walked this afternoon with CBS News consultant Steve Cohen through the Tishinko market in Moscow.
I don't know whether you want to call the economic policies of the Yeltsin government since 1992 shock therapy or just dumb. But what they did to these people savaged this society. Took their life savings, destroyed their standard of living, and people were selling off their household possessions.
This man has brought his possessions on his back.
On his back, Joe. You can only guess of what the real profession of these people might be.
Cohen is concerned that summit pageantry has obscured the real Russia.
I worry a little bit that President Clinton might be seeing a pretend Russia, and that the real Russia is closer to this ramble shack market of desperate people.
This is a heartbreaking scene.
The United States government has supported this so-called shock therapy. But most of the politicians in this country say that's not Russia's road forward. They've got to find another.
These recommendations are called shock therapy, makes it sound painful, but reform won't add more pain. Reform will ease the pain.
For Galina Sergeyevna and her husband, living on $25 a month, neither reform nor hope is likely to ease the pain.
With the economic situation in Russia so volatile, it takes a skilled professional to be U.S. ambassador here and represent American interest. But it's no secret that sometimes, and in some places around the world, a U.S. ambassador may have no experience, just heavy money and fat checkbooks. Candidate Bill Clinton promised to change all that. So we asked correspondent Eric Ingberg to check some diplomatic credentials for tonight's CBS Evening News reality check.
New Year's Day.
The Clinton administration promised to elevate diplomacy above the grungy world of payoff politics. No more ambassadors appointed just because they gave to the party. Time out. Mr. Clinton is still playing the embassy for sale game. 34% of his ambassadors are political appointees, not career foreign service officers. That's a higher percentage of political appointments than President Bush. And this administration has given 5 European glamour posts to people who gave big to the Democrats in the last 3 elections. Austria, Swanee Hunt. The Netherlands, Terry Dornbush. Switzerland, Larry Lawrence. Denmark, Edward Elson. And France, Pamela Harriman. Former Republican Chairman Rich Bond, noting that Democrats howled at Bush-Reagan ambassadors, has a word for their current posture.
Hypocrites.
Embassies, he says, are a staple of politics.
When the big money is transmitted, it's always for the good of the cause or the good of the candidate, but it's amazing how they all cycle back in both parties to say, now, what I would like, by the way, is Switzerland.
The Clinton choice for Switzerland, Californian Larry Lawrence, is so lacking in foreign policy experience, the appointment was widely criticized.
Mr. Lawrence has earned his appointment the old-fashioned way. He's paid for it.
Another controversial choice was ambassador to the Bahamas, which went to number 67, ex-pro linebacker Sidney Williams. While he has no diplomatic background, he is married to influential California Congresswoman Maxine Waters. The president's appointments produce almost no criticism from Democrats.
They're doing better than any of their predecessors, so it's an improvement.
As for Mr. Clinton's promise of a government that looks like America, he has named fewer women and minorities as ambassadors than George Bush did in his first year. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead, we're going back to Dan in Moscow for some final thoughts about the summit. But coming up next, a silent killer and a device that could save your life.
Wilford Brimley for Quaker Toasted Oatmeal.
You with cold cereal?
Yes, ma'am.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal.
Quaker oatmeal flakes, touch of brown sugar, good as all get out.
Well, they sure like it.
Why not? Grains of Quaker oatmeal on every oatmeal flake. That's oatmeal on top of oatmeal. Same good stuff as the hot.
So, they can do it cold.
And still do it right.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal, original and honey nut.
It's my other oatmeal.
Mine, too.
Today, our most shocking case to date. During the week, Leonard Connor's a mild-mannered ad executive, but on weekends, he becomes Leonard Connor phone junkie. Friends, relatives, it doesn't matter who he calls as long as he's on the phone. His crime? Not taking advantage of Sprint's new offer to split the cost of calls all weekend long. Don't let this happen to you. Call now with 50% off. It's a crime to miss it.
For sinus pain and pressure relief, take Tristan Sinus. It contains ibuprofen with 40 million prescriptions, but combined in non-prescription strength with the decongestant doctors recommend most. Tristan Sinus with 2 doctor-recommended medicines.
Oh, yeah. Great outdoor camping, fishing, wait, water. Yeah!
When your stomach takes a wrong turn to Malox, because Malox moments only last a moment.
Saturday on CBS, the Giants and the 49ers.
Breathe, honey. And then Sunday, the underdog Packers take on Emmett and the Cowboys.
What a weekend!
We're big fans.
The Midwest is in a deep freeze tonight, the coldest it's been in nearly a decade. Temperatures throughout the region plunged today to double digits below zero, and the wind chill made it feel even colder. Cars needed a little extra encouragement to start, and the cold was more than some water mains could stand. As bad as it is in the Midwest, forecasters say it will be even colder tomorrow. The cold, of course, can be a killer, but there is another wintertime danger that can attack you in the warmth of your home. It's carbon monoxide. As correspondent Frank Courier reports, there is a way to protect yourself.
38. In Chicago, scores of frightened children are overcome by deadly fumes inside their school. In another neighborhood, the same silent killer invades a bungalow during the night and takes a toll.
We had a complete family of 10 snuffed out.
They're all victims of CO, carbon monoxide gas. Odorless and colorless, it's the leading cause of death by poisoning in America.
Carbon monoxide can essentially replace oxygen, essentially suffocates your cells.
With an estimated 100,000 CO victims treated nationwide last year, Chicago is the first major city to pass laws requiring carbon monoxide detectors in all new residential dwellings.
These products are available in Chicago at any number of outlets at between $40 and $50. And frankly, I don't think that's too much to pay to keep your family safe.
Carbon monoxide detectors are new on the market, and despite the price tag, Chicago retailers say they can't meet consumer demand.
They've been flying out the door. We can't keep them in stock.
There's growing evidence that CO detectors could save lives. A recent study estimates 700,000 homes in the U.S. may reach dangerous levels of carbon monoxide in the wintertime. When houses are sealed tight against the cold, gas may accumulate. Where appliances are poorly vented, chimneys are blocked, or cracks in a furnace allow fumes to escape. The units are engineered to detect even minute levels of gas and will react the same as any smoke detector.
Carbon monoxide detectors are an important piece of safety equipment. It can save the lives of you and your family.
These pricey early warning systems soon will be as cheap and commonplace as smoke detectors, experts say, when other cities pass laws aimed at stopping wintertime silent killer. Frank Courier, CBS News, Chicago.
Coming up next on the CBS Evening News from Moscow, President Clinton brings the electronic town meeting to Russian TV. You will see and hear how the audience liked it.
I still remember getting my first candy from my grandfather. It was Werther's Original, and I was 4. I remember opening that golden wrapper and then that first taste. Sweet and creamy and just plain good. I felt I was really somebody special when Grandpa gave me his wonderful butter candy. Now I'm the grandfather, and what else would I give my grandson but Werther's Original? He's somebody special, too.
Please pass the all fruit.
Pass the Polaner all fruit.
Pass the Polaner all fruit.
Would you please pass the jelly?
Polaner all fruit is real fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice. You'll call it delicious. You'll call it remarkable. But please, don't dare call it jelly. Polaner all fruit, the spreadable fruit.
I shampoo for dandruff, but my scalp still itches.
Now there's Scalpicin for deep scalp itch, not ordinary dandruff. It's clear liquid, not shampoo. With itch medicine, dermatologists chose over these dandruff shampoo formulas.
The itch is gone.
Scalpicin.
Today, there's Protegra, the all-antioxidant vitamin mineral supplement with more vitamin E, C, and beta-carotene. To boost your antioxidant levels, even if you take a multivitamin, add Protegra, the good news in antioxidants.
2 a.m., 36 Pine Street. Apartment 4C has a backache and can't sleep. 3C overdid her afternoon workout and is paying the price. 2C had an aching back, but fortunately she also has Tylenol PM gel caps with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help her sleep. And a good night's sleep was all she needed to make her day a whole lot brighter. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
After his night back there in the Kremlin, President Clinton goes on to Mentz tomorrow, then to Geneva, Switzerland, to meet President Assad of Syria. 6 countries in 6 days, a grueling schedule, but the president seemed to be in mid-campaign form tonight as he introduced Russian viewers to his favorite format, the electronic town meeting. Cindy Kennard has more.
You would have thought the Clinton campaign had landed in Moscow.
My wife, Hillary, who just came to Russia this morning.
The American president live on Russian television trying to win over the Russian people this week in the same way he won the election back home.
St. Petersburg, you have a question?
Only this time, Mr. Clinton was selling democracy, free market reform, and his friend Boris Yeltsin.
But I'll tell you one thing about him. He at least gets up every day and tries to make a difference.
For more than an hour in mid-afternoon, Mr. Clinton reached an audience like Regina and Anatoly Kolchugin and their grandchildren. I wish Yeltsin would talk to us like that, he says. Oh, she says, he reminds me a bit of Kennedy.
Russia is an old country, for the most part used to old leaders. If Mr. Clinton is leaving a lasting impression here, it may be of his youth.
Of course, the young president, it's nice.
Russians are used to sedate presidential visits, not a 40-something working the crowd with the national hat on his head. I like Clinton, she says, because he likes Elvis Presley. He is telling us all he wants to do is help, she tells her granddaughter. And as the Russian-American relationship moves toward an uncertain future, that message of friendship was this week's Clinton campaign. Cindy Kennard, CBS News, Moscow.
This midwinter summit in Moscow went off smoothly, but you had the feeling it was on thin ice. Amid the arms control agreements, the Russian military chose this week to truck out some of their SS-25 intercontinental missiles, a vivid reminder that they still have the power to destroy the world. It is a potentially dangerous fact of international life now that the relationship between the U.S. and Russia has lost the balance it held for so long. It is now, for this moment in history at least, unequal. The Russians know it, but they do not want sympathy. They do want understanding. Russia is a proud and powerful nation undergoing a painful, even humiliating transition. To what? No one can say. The American task, President Clinton's role, is to try to help without hurting, without preaching or provoking, in hopes that Russia can someday heal herself and rise again in peace. Connie?
Thanks, Dan. We'll be back in New York on Monday, and throughout the weekend, CBS News will have the latest on the president's travels and the Nancy Kerrigan story. Meantime, have a great weekend. Good night, Dan.
Good night, Connie. Good night, everybody.